Hey folks, everything new under the sun. This is a very interesting article. This is zerohedge.com. Germany preparing for emergency cash deliveries, bank runs, and aggressive discontent ahead of winter power cuts. This is the year 2022. We are talking about this in our day and age in the Western world. Germany is a westernized country, a Western country. First world. Everything was awesome before the war in Ukraine. And now they're talking about trouble with cash, bank runs, and unrest, civil unrest. As Reuters reports, citing sources, German authorities have stepped up preparations for emergency cash deliveries in the case of a blackout or blackouts, plural, to keep the economy running as the nation braces for possible power cuts arising from the war in Ukraine. The plan includes Bundesbank hoarding extra billions to cope with a surge in demand, as well as possible limits on withdrawals. So they could possibly limit people's withdrawal in Germany. So if you're in Germany now, I would say get cash out now, because they're even talking about it, about limiting withdrawals come the winter when it gets cold. It says, and if you think crypto investors are angry when they can't access their digital tokens in a bankrupt exchange, FTX, just wait until you see a German whose cash has been locked out. And this is why they want to get rid of cash, to prevent you completely taking it out. But this is very interesting. Although German authorities have publicly played down the likelihood of a blackout and bank runs for obvious reasons, because people would panic even more immediately. The discussions show how seriously they take the threat and how they struggle to prepare for potential crippling power outages caused by soaring energy costs and even sabotage. So apparently, roughly 60% of everyday German purchases are paid in cash. I would think that's probably 10% or 5% in North America, to be honest with you. Most times you take your debit card out and you use the touchless option for that. You don't even touch a keypad for that. You just use the tap. Here's a punchline. It says a parliamentary report on a decade ago warned of discontent and aggressive altercations in case citizens were unable to get their hands on cash in a blackout. This is well before Ukraine. In case of cash withdrawal halts, German society may very well tear itself apart. That was the original text there. If a blackout struck, the story goes on, one option for policymakers could be to limit the amount of cash withdrawals, said one of the people. Needless to say, that would be a very bad option for Germany and for fiat in general. After all, if the FTX bankruptcy is a black eye for crypto, what can one say about fiat if one of the world's most advanced economies limits access to cash? Now, access to cash is going to be limited at some point going forward anyways. But I think it's interesting that they're looking towards civil unrest. They're looking at bank runs. They're looking at people hoarding cash and all sorts of trouble in this Western society, in this first world country, because of energy problems. We're going to see this everywhere around the world, some worse, some less bad. But in Germany, it's very real. And in all the countries around there, it's very real in Europe. So folks, if you're in Europe and you're not prepared, you should be. You should have lots of cash out. You should have lots of food. You should have lots of storage. You should have a way to defend all that as well, because now if you have it in person on hand, you're going to have to then defend it from marauders, from people who did not get prepared, or who are simply taking advantage of the chaos and the situation and start stealing. And it's very much a discussion about this idea of a Mad Max scenario, where when things get bad, people are going to get desperate. They're going to get hungry. They will start going and start getting angry and start threatening and start stealing, because they have no other choice. If they have kids to feed, if they have mouths to feed in their household, people will get desperate, and society goes downhill very, very quickly when that happens. So be prepared, folks. Thanks for watching. I'll leave it there. We'll see you in the next video.